Lia Thomas, does that name ring any bells? Yep, she's that person, and I say person because she used to be a man but is now a woman, who is single-handedly trying to destroy women's swimming. I'm sure you all remember in 2022, she smashed the NCAA championships. She won first place, beating two very good and experienced biological female swimmers, to absolutely no one's surprise because, well, she was a man up until a few years ago. And now she wants to do it all again. She was banned from competing after that NCAA championships in 2022. But she is staging a comeback. She wants to swim in the Olympic Games this year. Dear God, help us all. So she's actually taken the steps to do this. She's launched a full-scale attack. She's suing World Aquatics because she wants a judge to overturn the ban that organization put in place because of her. And let's not lie, that ban was completely justified. But she's just on a mission to destroy women's sport, so she's going to take it all the way. So I actually commend World Aquatics for their decision to ban transgender women. So their new rule is that transgender women can only compete if they were fully transitioned by age 12, which I think is very fair because age 12 is when you hit puberty. Puberty is when a boy becomes a man, when they get muscular, when their shoulders broaden, when everything happens that makes them a strong man, stronger than any woman. So I think that's completely fair, but Lia Thomas does not think this is fair. Well, that would make sense because Lia Thomas only transitioned into a woman in 2019. So it's no surprise that she smashed the competition in 2022 because pre-2019, as you can see, she didn't do that well. Post-2019, she killed it. And as much as she tries to gaslight us into thinking that the hormones she took to transition into a woman made her a biological woman, and she can think this all she wants in her little brain, but we all know the truth. Completing puberty as a man and then taking hormones to become a woman does not make you a woman, Lia. It makes you a man who's taken hormones to become a woman, but you're still a man. So now she's hired a Canadian law firm, go figure, Canada, the land of the communists, to fight her case at the Court of Arbitration of Sport in Switzerland. But World Aquatics have reportedly applied to have the case at the Swiss-based tribunal thrown out, as Thomas had not submitted to the rules and jurisdiction of USA Swimming. The governing body has said only members of national federations are subject to and can challenge the rules. i.e. Lia Thomas is American, she needs to be part of the jurisdiction of USA Swimming. She's not part of that federation, so therefore she can't challenge it. Completely fair. She's not going to stop trying though. Lia Thomas is not backing down on this. She is doubling down on her rights as a trans woman. She refuses to acknowledge that she has a natural advantage over biological women. She even goes as far to say that if you don't support her, then you are transphobic. She says that in order to be a trans ally, you have to support her right to be able to swim as a woman in the women's category. And if you disagree with that notion, you are transphobic. You are not an ally of the community. She said, quote, "You can't go halfway and be like, I support trans people, but only to a certain point." Well, actually, Lia, I think you can. And peddling this kind of rhetoric, this aggressive, not flexible rhetoric, isn't going to win you any fans. It's not going to win the entire trans community and LGBT community any allies, because you're making people angry. Everything that you're saying is going against logic, and people don't like being made to feel guilty for simply accepting the truth. We all get it. You're under your own delusion and you can do that if you want, but you're not going to win the court case and you're not going to overturn the ban. You're not going to be swimming as a woman anytime soon. If you want to believe that you can, go right ahead. But World Swimming doesn't, FINA doesn't, and most importantly, the world doesn't. Supporters of swimming don't. And it's because what you're trying to push is inherently unfair. I know that Lia Thomas identifies as a woman, and she can do that if she wants. She can wear women's clothes, she can paint her nails, she can call herself a woman's name, whatever you want to do in your own time. But when it starts affecting other people, other swimmers like Riley Gaines, who's come out and has been very outspoken about it, she competed against Lia Thomas and was one of the unfortunate people who had to give up even competing for first place because she was never going to win. She came in second place. She should have won that NCAA championship, and she's angry, and rightly so. So over the past couple of years, Riley Gaines has been a massively vocal critic of everything that Lia Thomas says. And it's because she has lived experience of this. She knows what it's like to be forced to compete on an unfair playing field. And she's also a really massive proponent of women's sport. And what Lia is doing, although it's pushing trans and LGBT agendas, it's actually detracting from women's sport. And I'm very glad that the swimming authorities have banned it, because if they did allow it to happen, women's sport would be destroyed in a matter of years because they just can't compete. There's a very obvious reason why only trans women want to compete against biological women and not trans men wanting to compete against biological men. It's because even if you transition, your biology remains the same. You'll never be as strong as biological men. Trans women will always be stronger than biological women. And that's why the open competition, which was World Aquatics' attempt at a middle ground, didn't work. Because firstly, there aren't enough trans swimmers. And secondly, the entire competition was trans women. So it was basically a call out to all trans women who wanted to compete against each other. And of course, there weren't enough of them. So they canned the competition. And that in itself should show you everything that Lia Thomas is saying is complete BS. Stop picking on women's sport, compete against people your own size, and drop this lawsuit. It's wasting time, money, and effort for everyone involved.